All right, so we've seen how to cut all the vegetables. Now we're going to make a flower display. For anybody who has ever made a flower display in their life, you need to have an oasis. Usually it's a styrofoam thing that you put inside in the bottom of a bowl. You can put water in it. It's like a sponge. It sucks up the water, and then you put your flowers in, and that oasis will keep the flowers nice and pretty looking, and it gives it a nice solid base. So our oasis is going to be a head of iceberg lettuce. It goes in the bottom of the basket. Any basket will do. And what I usually do is I try to put one of my skewers right in the middle. Now you have to make sure if you're going to give this to somebody that they understand that not everything is edible inside of there. What I like to do too is I know full well that I got 2 red peppers, 2 yellow peppers, and I like to separate those first and foremost. So I'm going to take the skewer, I'm going to put it through the heart of that pepper. Now, in the video with the peppers, I showed where that is. The back part of this is where the stem is. I don't want to go right through the stem. I want to go next to the stem, and I want to twist the skewer until it goes through. I'm not trying to break it. I'm just trying to get it to go in. All right? So I know I have 4. I'm going to do 1 on each side. One that's red on each side, and 1 that's yellow on each side. Now, one of the things that I really like about having the purple top turnips, which I wasn't able to get because of the pandemic, is that if I have a red pepper, the purple top turnips, when you cut them, they're extremely white. So they stand out in the middle of that red pepper. Now, as you can see, it's starting to open up a little bit. I'm going to help it a little. Okay. Now I'm trying not to have my yellows and my reds side by side, but this is going to be really difficult in such a small little basket. I'm used to much bigger displays. But since I'm at home, I'm doing the best I can with what I have. So we're going to go ahead and put the skewer right through the pepper into... Oops, so that one got busted. And that's okay. That's one of the things that's awesome about doing this, is that it's nature, and in nature nothing is perfect, nothing is symmetrical, and if you end up breaking one of the little leaves off, it's not that big a deal, not the end. So there goes another one. That's okay. Not actually, didn't really break off, not the end of the world. Okay, so like I said, I like to have the white go in the middle of the red. So what I'm going to do is I took an onion, and that was also one of the videos where I showed you how to make the blooming onion from the Outback Steakhouse. And that's the onion. Once you cut it, it'll open up, slowly open up into ice water. I'm going to take the end of that skewer, and I'm going to place the onion right on there. And like I said, see how there's the onion, and then you have the pepper, and it kind of like that's the middle of the flower, and here's the outside part of the flower. I did beets. Excuse me. I did leeks as well, and the same thing. I want the white of this leek to be inside or alongside of this flower. So I'm going to drop it down inside and leave it just like that. Okay. Now I have carrots. I can easily take my skewer, put my carrot on the end of my skewer, and stick that right in the middle. Right in the middle. Now sometimes that will happen if the pepper is really firm. You already have a hole inside of your carrot, you just slide it right on. Okay? We're going to slide this around. Now we have two yellow peppers. We're going to, and I'm not sure if this is going to work because that one's pretty deep in there, so what I'll do is I'll put another one in. Alright, and I'll use that. I'm going to put my beet right on top of that. Oh, that didn't really work out so well. Push harder. There we go. Alright, and I got one more yellow, and I have another beet, which I'll like to put right in the middle of that one. And this time I'm going to stick it here first, And I'm going to put it in. I'm going to hope it doesn't stick right through, and it didn't. That's nice. So now that yellow is popping around the outside of that beet. Okay? Right here in the middle, nice and tall, I'm going to take another leek. I'm going to put that right smack dab in the middle. Skewer that on top of that. Boom. Just like that. Okay. Now, I have plenty of radishes to put around the outside. I have carrots. One of the things you can do with the scallion is you can take your skewer and run it through the middle of the scallion. You can place that scallion inside of there and bring this back like this slightly and put your right on top. Yes, the green part is where the flavor is, but it also can be a wonderful garnish. And all we do is just keep adding flowers wherever we see an empty spot. Add a flower. We have plenty of flowers to work with. The other thing that is nice about this is if you learn how to do this, and you can teach others how to do this, once they start doing it along with you, everybody can make a flower. You can put them onto the display, and what happens is once they're on the display, it's really difficult to figure out whose is whose. And people are so enamored at how beautiful it looks, they're not looking for any imperfections. And like I already said, the beauty of this type of a display is that it's a flower. It's supposed to be flowers. It's not supposed to be vegetables. It's not supposed to be perfect in every way. If it is, then something doesn't look quite right. All right. Now, the other thing that I like to try to do is go around and I like to try to make sure I have color in every area, not the same color all over the place. Right, I have a lot of red over here on this side, no orange whatsoever, so I'll slide this right inside there. All right. Pop a little radish inside there. Okay, now our scallions are nice and easy to just stick in anywhere we want to stick them in. I usually don't anchor those down. They usually hold up pretty well. If they fall out, no harm, no foul. Now, the last thing that we're going to do is kale. All right? What I like about kale is it's really hardy. It stands up well. And what you can do with the kale is you can pull off a nice piece, and it's firm and it's hardy, and you can stick it right down inside and it'll hold it in place. You don't have to worry about it falling out. I used to use parsley, curly parsley, and it looks great for a while. It doesn't hold up well in warm settings. So you put this on the buffet, the parsley looks wilted. Just like when I was showing you the stem for the radish, it wilts relatively quickly. You want to make sure that you use something that doesn't wilt, and this kale fits the bill nicely. And essentially all you're doing with the kale is you're looking for empty spots and you're filling them in. That's all you're doing. All I'm doing is looking for empty spots. So I like to separate these so people can see that the flour is actually there, that the pepper is actually separated. So I like to take the kale and stick it underneath. It also gives it some body and some volume. And then a lot of times when I'm working on it, I'm standing real close to it. And it's hard to see any holes or any imperfections or any part that's lacking. So I like to, once I think I have enough stuff in it, I like to stand back and take a look at it and see where I think I have either a dip or some missing spots or some color that needs to be added. Now I put the handle down so I could work on it. See if I can get the handle back up. Nice. And there's the final product.